That is exactly what we look for. We look for the most unlikely places to fulfill our deeds to destroy. Lord Sauron. Thorin and company are now at Rivendell, the last homely house. This brings back some of the worst memories, as it was established as a stronghold and a refuge after you wielded the One Ring and the elves took off their rings to avoid your influence. This is really why the elves love it. A cure for weariness, fear, and sadness. It is a sanctuary that will allow them to leave stronger as well as more refreshed and rejuvenated for their journeys. Our goal is to destroy all of that. It was, and still is, though it would be even harder. Thorin and company would go to seek Elrond's counsel and assistance, and go over Thor's map, which had the cryptic instructions of how to enter Lonely Mountain after it had been seized by Smaug. His house was perfect. Whether you liked food, or sleep, or work, or storytelling, or singing, or just sitting and thinking best were a pleasant mixture of them all. Evil things did not come into that valley. They wouldn't know about that last part. Evil things did not come into that valley? Oh, please, we have been so busy trying to bust that. Much like the Ainulindalë, we can still barge in and play music that is contrary to the elves singing. The elves would just never stop singing over there. Who could stand all that racket? Unfortunately, that wouldn't be as effective as it was in the Ainulindalë, but we always will find other options. Let's jump back for a second. See, our efforts to destroy Rivendell never really seemed to work out all that well. A century after you forged the One Ring, the War of the Elves and Sauron started in 1693 of the Second Age. Your ring would claim all the rings in Ostineddo, and Gil-galad would call for help from Numenor. 2 years later, the siege of Eregion started as you attacked. Elrond found Rivendell in 1697 of the Second Age, with the War of the Elves still ongoing at the time. It was a refuge for the elves. He meant for it to be in the safest spot, that spot which is safest from our powers and our influence in their 3 rings. Little did he know, that is exactly what we look for. We look for the most unlikely places to fulfill our deeds to destroy. This is because we destroyed Eregion, so in hindsight we helped them a little bit unwillingly. Elrond went from Lindon to resist your power, and we sieged it again shortly after as we fought the elves of Rivendell. And the elves of Lindon, as we figured, Rivendell's founding was the best time to separate the elves, as some of the elves will move to Rivendell. We didn't know Gil-galad had all 3 of the elven rings. We thought he only had 2. We were too focused on attacking Celebrimbor once he found out your identity and motives. But we knew Elrond will attack you from the rear, and so we sent a small force to lay siege to Rivendell, which ended up being destroyed. In 1699 of the Second Age, the war was still going on, and we were able to separate Lindon and the Grey Havens from Rivendell, which was our greatest tactic. Additionally, we had total control of Eriador as they fell. Unfortunately, this was short-lived as an army of Numenor arrived a year after that. Since we were unable to take over the 3 rings of the elves, we can still count on your ring. It is now in Gollum's hands, who is already corrupted. Gollum first had it right when the Istari were formed. Meanwhile, Bilbo and his crew, Thorin and company, were not aware of this ring. Bilbo is still getting used to going on adventures, but it's not too late to just leave the ring to Gollum for him to one day be one of us. Now, Rivendell's forces are starting to get stronger and will get stronger after Thorin and company leave to finish their quest. This is because as Gandalf was looking for a hobbit, Bilbo, to fulfill his deed, we were already planning a great war. It always goes back to this one. We must find a way to stop this. Gandalf knew that Saruman would get closer and closer to your side, thus he was hindering all his plans. So, our plan to attack one of the Istari partially worked. We got Saruman, who used to be the chief of the Istari, on our side. Unfortunately for us, Gandalf was the only one who knew Rivendell was not out of our reach. Since Gandalf and Saruman are both Maya, their powers are the same as yours. So now, the point is unfortunately no longer to get Gandalf on our side anymore, as he had already made his choice to side with our enemy. The point is to get strongly on Saruman's, since Saruman is on our side. Your most trusted comrade, Melkor Morgoth.